Mayor Andrea Horwath joins us now with what's happening in Hamilton. You're just coming off yesterday at this time. You were hosting the mayor's breakfast where you kind of talked about the accomplishments in the past 12 months, but also a lot of challenges coming ahead for the city.
Yeah, you know, it's called the State of the City, and it's the Chamber of Commerce event, and so there were over 500 people there. It was sold out, which was wonderful. The positive thing about it, energy. There was so much energy in the room. There's so much optimism, and people are really looking forward to the things that this city is going to be doing in the next little while. And you think of things like, you know, the TD or Coliseum that's happening downtown, all of the things that are happening at our airport, lots of positive stories to tell. Other things I'm sure we'll get into this morning, but you can't ever take your eye off the fact that there are always going to be challenges. It's a big city, and so as we're growing, we're also dealing with some of the challenges like our housing and homelessness issues, like our mental health and addictions issues in the community, safety and well-being of people. Folks are really concerned and upset about gun crime and shootings and those kinds of things. And so, yeah, there's a lot that we're doing that's exciting. There's a lot of positivity in the future, but there's also, you can never take your foot off the gas, was my message to everyone. Is you have to be focused, you have to keep working, and you can never sit on your laurels. It's not like you tie it up in a bow someday and everything's done. It's not like that. It's focused constantly.
Okay, speaking of your foot on the gas, that's kind of a natural segue into the speed cameras.
Oh, good one.
Don't put it too heavy on it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's one of those agree to disagree things with the Premier. It's really clear that speed cameras make a difference. Our own data shows that the number of tickets that we're giving out and the amount of revenue that we're bringing in is reducing. Why? Because people are changing their habits. They're changing the way that they drive, and that's what we want. We want our school zones to be safe. We want vulnerable young people, children, seniors, folks in community safety areas to be safe. And there's nothing more terrifying than a speeding car coming down a road and going out of control or just not even seeing a child, for example, on the street. I mean, what's that child's life worth? It's worth everything. Yes, it's worth a speed ticket. It's breaking the law. And you know, the Premier doesn't seem to want to be moving away from his position. Neither do the mayors and the city leadership that continue to have those cameras. They work. Sick Kids says they work. The chiefs of police of Ontario say they work. It's about safety, and there's just nothing more important.
What else did you talk to the Premier about during a meeting last week?
Well, I want to say I'm grateful to the Premier, because when I do reach out to say there's a couple of things I want to chat about, he's always ready to find the time. And so we were announcing the kind of the opening of the Centennial
the Go
Station. Yeah, so that was great. But we chatted about some of the same things I talk to the ministers about all the time. So housing and supportive housing, and how can the province help us with all of the things that we have on our property tax base that really belong on the provincial books. And so having that conversation, talking about pushing the LRT forward, talking about uploading the link and the Red Hill Creek Expressway like they've done for Ottawa, like they've done for Toronto. So nothing that his ministers at the cabinet table aren't already aware of, because we spoke to them about those things too, but making sure that the Premier's aware as well.
Okay. A lot has been said about you leaving the Police Services Board. A chance to explain why.
Well, you know, as we were talking about the kinds of things that a mayor has to do in a city like ours, it's quite vast, and it's a situation where, as somebody who has been doing this kind of work for a very long time, I know when I'm spread too thin and when there's a necessity to really focus and put a lot of effort into a particular organization. For me, that's the Police Services Board right now. They're going through a strategic planning process.
Which is exhaustive.
Which is very, very, and it's important.
Yeah,
and it's important to be focused.
But there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Absolutely. And even up until this point, prior to me stepping down, I haven't had a lot of time to join into the committees and add my voice in some of the other structures that already exist. We also now have a full complement of appointees on the board. That hadn't been the case for the entire term thus far. So it was the time. It was the time knowing that I wouldn't be able to contribute in a way that I felt responsible about. Do you know what I mean? But also making sure that the other board members would have somebody there who was able to pull their weight and was able to actually contribute in a much more fulsome way. And so I get it that people kind of scratch their heads over it, but I have no regrets. I've done I have a lot of time for our police service. I have a lot of time for our chief. They do a lot of really important work, and they answer community needs. So we now have patrols on the streets downtown, right? We had the shooting task force that now turned permanent because they were looking at the gun crime that was happening in our city. So I'm not walking away from my support for the work that they do, the women and men that serve in the Hamilton Police Service and the leadership, but I am saying time for somebody else to be able to put more time into it than I can.
Okay, and our time is up. Unfortunately, we'll get the links to the city up on our website at chch.com/morninglive. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.